Welcome to Ocean Chicks Films.
Welcome to the Ocean Chicks Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Karen, and tonight in the broadcast studio we have the lovely Emma from the YouTube channel Spookyastronauts. Now, Emma is one of the OG horror thriller content creators. She's also a certified Rotten Tomatoes critic, as well as an incredible source of knowledge about all of the movies that we love and hate. And I got to talk to her about everything and a whole lot more. So sit back and enjoy the show, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Welcome to the Ocean Chicks Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Karen, and I'm super excited tonight in the broadcast studio we have horror and thriller content creator Emma from the channel Spookyastronauts. Hey Emma, how's it going?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. I watched your video today. I've been following your channel for a really long time. Love your channel. So much great content on there. And I watched your Pope's Exorcist true story video today. So good. Oh my gosh. You got some great stuff in there.
Yeah, I really went down a rabbit hole with that one. So it's always really fun when you, I don't do deep dives too often. They don't really perform that well. Yeah. But I always do like what I love about them is I fall down these holes and I just want to present any information I find. And that one was definitely a hole.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know you're kind of the same as I was so about the whole film itself. Like it's fun, sure. But yeah, I was so excited to see that movie for so long. Yeah. I thought, maybe it'll be good. And it was okay. Like, it's a fun watch, but yeah, not exactly what I expected.
I mean, there's so many controversial elements of it, and having Russell Crowe in there as well. Like, I just knew it was going to be a very interesting portrayal. So it's always interesting. I usually focus so much on the film, and I don't, unfortunately, I don't have enough time to read, or I don't, look at the source material usually before a movie. I usually work backwards. Unless I know the story, I work backwards, which is really interesting. It comes from a different perspective. So it's always interesting to find out the truth behind things instead of the other way around, where a lot of people are impacted. I guess if, like reading a book and then you see the movie come out and you're disappointed because it wasn't like the book, I usually do it the opposite way. Or find myself doing that because I liked the movie or was interested in elements of the movie and where it could have gone wrong, and then going back and, I did the same with like Knock at the Cabin. Things like that where I'm like, where did this idea come from and what changed? Which I think is a different perspective for sure. Which is kind of what happened with Pope's Exorcist. I was like, what? Who was this based on? And I had seen the documentary before with Father and Mort and the Devil, but I just like wanted a refresher after watching that movie. So super interesting. I find that stuff interesting.
Oh, me too. You can see from my set I'm a little bit obsessed with it. So I love all the true stories too. So it's interesting to see what people do with it. I mean, it is kind of a difficult topic to tackle, I think, and I think a lot automatically people give it a bad rap because they just think, oh, it's another exorcism movie, it's going to be the same old. I'm always hopeful though, and I'd like to see what they do with it. But yeah, they definitely went a different way with it than I thought they were going to, for sure. But you were your video, you were saying you heard rumors of perhaps a second one coming out too.
Yeah. There was a couple of articles. Yeah, me either.
I didn't know. I knew they were like. Obviously, Russell Crowe was thinking that was the direction they would go with it later. I think I heard that in an interview too, but I didn't know that they were seriously thinking about it now.
Yeah, I think they've like greenlit. That's the rumor that they've greenlit it, but we'll see, because I actually think it did perform quite well, and now it's hit Netflix. It's either a rumor to hit since it's hitting Netflix, it's either a rumor that's gonna try and get more engagement for it, a headline to get more engagement for it on Netflix, or part of the truth. But I wouldn't be surprised. Russell Crowe I don't know if he's an executive producer in that film, but he definitely puts his money behind some films like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to figure out a way to make sure there was number two. Yeah. And I honestly, as much as people say there's, there's already Conjuring and we've already kind of got that franchise, I still think there's room for it. People are still going to watch it if there is a sequel, as much as people like shit on that.
Yeah,
film.
of course, of course. I mean, there's lots of controversy right now about The Exorcist, Believer, but I'm dying to see it. I really want to see it. Hopefully with some of the stuff that's come up, it could be going in a cool direction. So it's hard to say. But
yeah, that's so interesting, especially
it,
because it's a trilogy, and I'm like, I can kind of see what they're doing in the first one, because I don't usually watch trailers, but I watched that trailer. Right. I can kind of see what they're doing with it, but I'm like, where would this go? That it splits off into 3 different parts, unless the first part is just solely on the case, with 2 girls this time, and then maybe they go more into like Pazuzu or whoever they tackle for it later on. Maybe that gets like deeper and deeper, which would be really cool if they pull back a different layer each time. I'm just really concerned. I don't know about your thoughts on the new Halloween, but I'm very concerned it's going to turn into like a nothing burger where like they introduce the characters at the start, nothing happens in the middle, and something kind of happens at the end.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be something good. I still want to watch it, but I'm kind of going in, sitting on the line. I'm not really sure about it for sure. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to your channel. In case there's some people out there that don't know, they should know your channel and they should all subscribe to your channel.
Thank you.
But in case they don't know, tell us like how you started way back when, how long you've been on, and to where you're at now.
I started like 9.5 years ago. I just say 10, I round up. Yeah, it's been a long time. And I just started because I don't really have any real life friends who like horror movies. It's always been like that. Watching movies has always been like a very solo activity. I'm a very, just solo person. I kind of do everything by myself. Enjoy my own company. And, horror movies, you just want something to talk about it with. So I come from a background of video and media, and so I already knew how to like film and edit and do all that kind of stuff. And I really loved honestly, it wasn't even reviewing and horror like the horror community on YouTube. I just love YouTube and pop culture in general. And so I just put all of those things together. So I thought, I'm gonna give this a go. I'll do it for like a couple of months. Obviously never thought it was going to be like a job or like any income or anything like that. I just wanted to see if there was other people out there and see if I could talk about things and people would actually watch, and people did. And it's still crazy to me today that people actually care about what I think. So yeah, I feel very privileged in that people, I don't know why. It's just so wild to me that I'll get out of watching a movie, I'll like film myself in the car being like, oh my God, this is how I feel about this. And then people will actually, like, I'll wake up the next day and people have watched it. It's so wild. But really cool. And yeah, from there, I think like the best thing that I did in terms of my channel was I started Patreon really, really early. And that just gave me like a core community of people that are like now my really good friends. And I think that really helped, because as much as you can just like upload a video and put it out on the internet, getting to know people and getting to know their tastes, and it's just like that community aspect that makes it so much better, and makes it such a fun place. And I make sure like along the way I kind of made it more of like a fun thing, never like a very serious thing. So that's why I kind of try and stay away from doing too many rants and raves and all that kind of stuff. Like at the end of the day, we love horror, we all love horror, but it is just movies, and we can't no one should be like attacked for their opinion or anything like that. So it's just like a fun place, especially because I feel like so many people who love horror movies are actually really sensitive people, and we're all looking for community. So it's that's what I love about it.
I personally think the community is really awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of really great people. There's lots of new and upcoming people doing channels. But yeah, there can be a lot of that drama about opinions and whatnot happening sometimes too. So yeah, I appreciate how you do things. It's very obvious in your channel. That's what I love about your channel, because I get it. Like I watch, and you do amazing rankings and what you watched for the month and that kind of thing. And I'm like going, oh man, and I'm writing down all the movies that you're saying because I've never heard of them before. You just seem to be, maybe because you've been doing it for so long, but you're so on top of everything that you're aware of all of the movies.
I feel like I'm not at all. There's
Like,
just so much content. How crazy compared to when I started, compared to how much content there is now, because I started in like 2014, and back then I was still getting God, what was it? Was it Redbox? I think it was. That used to get the DVDs like sent to your house. I used to get them. Like, it's just changed so much. And I obviously, you have a beautiful collection behind you, but I don't even collect physical media anymore because I don't have space in my house. I have like a storage room full of stuff, but it's like, I think I stopped around like 2016, 2018. I honestly, I just go to the movies a lot and watch a lot of stuff on streaming, but it's just so hard to keep up. Like, how many TV shows are on the back burner? Probably for you as well. Like, I have 20 TV shows. Everyone's like, oh, you should watch this. You should watch it. It's overwhelming. I honestly do not keep up, and I try really, really hard. And I think I really like, in, pandemic, in 2020, I wanted to make like a video that would make people aware of everything that was online to watch constantly, anything new. And that's when I started doing like what's coming out this month on VOD or streaming. And those videos are really popular, and I can understand why. And they're actually good for me because at the start of the month I get to do research and go, okay, what's coming out? And I actually refer back to that script throughout the month going, oh yeah, this movie's coming out on this date. So I think a huge part of doing my videos is making something that's helpful. Of course, it's opinionated, but I don't like watching anything that's not actually helping the viewer. So I'm trying to give, and that's what I count into my reviews as well, not only just talking about the movie and different aspects of it, but if you would like it, because everyone has different tastes and everyone, I try and give someone, I can't just harp on about my personal opinion, even though all reviews are technically personal opinion. I try and give something and a little bit of nuggets so people know, because there's just so much content. I am definitely not on top of it, but I try.
Well, you're way more on top of it than I am. That's for sure. And the collection, I just started. I got the bug. I started chatting to too many physical media collectors. And then you start, and once you start, you can't stop.
People are nuts about it, and people are very passionate about it, which I love, and I love seeing people's collections. I'm just like, I could not, because I know if I started, I get like hyper fixated on it. What I do have collected is like just really cool like pieces of media. Sorry, my dog just came in the room. Pieces of media that people have like sent me, and I've collected along the way. Like I have this beautiful communion. I love this movie. I don't know if you know this movie, but I love this movie. It's my favorite Alien movie, and someone sent me like one of the original copies, like things like that. I have Pet Sematary up there too. Neat. And I really appreciate having like just far and few in between things, but really loving those pieces of media. But I wish I could have a big collection. People are still very passionate about that, but there's just, I just feel so overwhelmed already with how much content's online. I don't know how people keep up with what's being released on like steelbooks and stuff. It's crazy.
And, I'm not that into it. Like, I'm just collecting. And that was the mistake that someone told me. Oh, you don't have to collect the best of the best. You just, DVDs are fine. And I was like, oh no, great. Now I'm buying everything. But I'm not as up on it as all of they are. But and streaming, you're watching everything anyway. You're going to the theater, which is awesome, and streaming stuff and watching and everything. So you're up on it. You're good. You don't have to collect. You don't have to. Do you find in your country, you're in Australia, I'm in Canada, and sometimes at theaters we don't get access to things or even streaming as quickly as America does.
Oh yeah,
and I have
100%.
a lot of American friends, and it's very frustrating. The new Hellraiser that came out a while ago now, it took me months before I could even watch it. I couldn't get access to it or anything. I was like,
Pearl came out here 6 months after it came out in America.
6 months? Wow.
And Midsummer, I think, was 2 months. It's really bad. It's so bad. I would say Australia and Brazil's also like really they get stuff super late too, and then it's so funny because I do have some American viewers that complain in my in my comment section that I've seen stuff before them, and I'm like, that is not the case. If I've seen anything, it's because it's out in your country, because sometimes I get screeners ahead of time,
Okay,
which I'm so, that is amazing, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to see it. I have like a producer contact, and they've sent me like a couple of movies that I've been so privileged of seeing because they didn't come out for another 3 months in my country. And I just wouldn't be able to talk about it. It really impacts my channel not seeing things on time. But yeah, that's constantly something that we have to worry about. But it's just part of the deal now, unfortunately. They are getting some movies. I just get so excited, like Beau is Afraid, like that. Came out on time, and I'm like, oh my god, I just like feel so lucky. But there's films like Us, which is like one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Jordan Peele's Us, that came out, I think it was like 3 weeks later here, and I was so worried about spoilers, because that's my main thing is people start watching it online, and because I'm in so many horror communities, I start posting like memes and all that kind of stuff, and then you start seeing it and you're putting it together. Even though I'm avoiding trailers, I start seeing everyone's opinion, and people have a very weird like line about, oh, well, the movie's been out for 2 weeks, so I can talk about it and I can say whatever I want, which I don't think is the case. Like a lot of people, even in like America, a lot of people still don't go to the cinemas anymore after the pandemic, and you're very like safe conscious and don't like big crowds. So I think it's just spoilers are like a huge thing for me, but that's like the main gripe I have with it, is that people just give away things. You have to really see a movie straight away for it not to be spoiled. But some people like spoilers and people are okay with it. I just like to go in like as blind and fresh as possible. Yeah.
And it gets hard too, because some of the content creators lately have been driving to another town to go to an early pre-screening of a film that they see like a week ahead. And it's like, I can't keep up. I don't. I just watch what I feel like watching.
Yeah.
What I'm into. I do a lot of older stuff, and that's what I do. That's what I like to do. So
I don't really have the opportunity to drive like I live in a main city. And actually I live in the most isolated city in the world, believe it or not. Perth, Australia is the most isolated compared to, which is very weird to say, because it's not like bush or anything. Like I live in like, there's high rises here. But there's not really any option to go to somewhere else that's close. Right. That would be really weird if there was that option, because I do think I would take that up. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to drive like, an hour to go watch this movie. I'm like, I would have to fly like 7 hours to go, have the opportunity. So, it's super interesting. But I'm super lucky because we have a really good mix of cinemas, like chain cinemas and also independent cinemas here. So whatever we do get in Australia, usually we're fine here in Perth. So.
Yeah, that's good. I live on an island, so I can.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I feel like that's like more isolated than I am. It's just like one of those technicality names that I give my city. Yeah.
People think, I'm coming to Vancouver. Can you come visit? It's like a ferry ride. No. It's far.
Yeah.
It's really far away.
Oh wow.
Sure. But that's interesting. Also, are you a Rotten Tomatoes critic too?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Did that happen recently, or is that something?
No. I think like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, they just contacted me randomly. They emailed me and they said, "Do you want to be one?" And I was like, is this a joke?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how they found me or anything. And then I just asked how the process worked, and they basically said you can go in and do it, or we can automatically do it. And I just, at that time, I was like, I don't know how many days a week I was working like a desk job. And so I said, oh, can you do it automatically? I need to switch it over, I reckon, because like sometimes they take a while to update their stuff. But yeah, very cool. And when you get to put that on your email, a lot of people tend to listen, which is really nice. Like it's been really beneficial for me. Yeah.
You know Lee from Drum Dums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, and he just recently became certified.
Oh, awesome. I know he was trying to for a long time. That's great.
He did. So he was pretty happy about that. So I think that's really awesome. Is it do you have to do a lot of work, or?
No, nothing. I just do my reviews as normal, and they must have someone who goes through a schedule and goes to my channel and then just
Oh,
goes
okay.
through. But like
Okay.
they pick out different, so the way that they do it for videos is they just pick out like a random line from it and then they
Okay.
link your whole video and they give you like they put in your score, but the random line sometimes that they pick that I say is like, it's so bad. You know, like some of the lines are just atrocious that I'm like meant to be some kind of critic and I write like they take out this byline of me saying the movie was okay, I think, or something like that. Like, I'm like, oh my god, that's why I need to do it myself, I think, so I can actually choose the right line, because I get it, someone's like probably at a desk doing it like continuously and they're just trying to do it as fast as possible and get a succinct little take. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I think that's so cool though. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You definitely deserve it because your content, your videos, they're so good. It's so, I learn something every time I watch. So I can see why they would have chosen you to do that, because I think that I appreciate that, because you're right. Some people gloss over films. They either love it or hate it, and that's all they talk about. They don't really say why or what or where they're coming from. And I don't appreciate that, because it's like, what does that mean? And I
it's not helpful.
Taking the time out to pay attention to the people that are creating these movies, they're putting a lot of effort into these movies. This is their art, I think we owe it to them to say a little bit more than I hated it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, like you just have to think about how many people are watching, and they're all have different perspectives, different, a lot of things come from life perspective on how people see movies, especially horror movies, whether things are scary or not to them. So I think it's important to, paint a broad picture of what the film is like and really give a vibe of the film to the audience without giving away anything. And then that way they are able to make their own decision if they even want to watch it or not. And that's kind of my thing. I'm like, I always say my score does not matter. It's more about like what I'm saying about the film.
Right.
Because people are so quick to jump into, oh, well, this person gave it this. But why? Like, why did they give it this?
But why?
I hate scoring. I actually hate it. It's just so hard because it's, it's apples and oranges. How can you rate a film, like compare like Citizen Kane to Talk to Me or whatever, like, and you put that on the same scale, even though they're completely different films and so good in their own right. But like, how weird is it that you can compare them both, or any film? It's so bizarre. It's just like the Barbie movie. I gave that a 10 out of 10. I freaking love that movie. It's
my
one
daughter
of the best things
too.
It's so good. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. Oh my gosh, you need to. It's one of the best pieces of media. And then, then I go watch a horror movie that I'm like, yeah, it was good, but and then I'm like, it's so weird to put them on that scale next to each other because you don't really score other things like, I guess people do, but it's so strange to score something that you have such an attachment to and a feeling, and you can walk away being scared or shocked or disturbed by, and then you just slap a number on it, and that's where it goes on a scale. Like it's so much more than that.
Yeah, I recently switched mine up. Actually, I have like phrases for each tier rather than stars or out of 5 or.
That's great.
Yeah, because I was thinking that exact same thing a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I don't like doing this because what does that mean? I'm giving everything 3 out of 5, or, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. But if I'm going to put it in terms of what it makes me feel, what the movie makes me feel like,
that's good. That's
in
great.
a more positive way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I love every movie, because there are some movies I don't like.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you have to say, like, this is trash, and that's totally fine. As long as you can back it up to why,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like for me, some of this very rushed, the modern CGI that they do in horror films, I hate it. I can't like it. If I see another spider crawl up a wall in a horror movie of someone possessed, I'm not watching them anymore.
Well, that's the Pope's Exorcist, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of what's been happening with the newer community is live streams. People are doing these live shows constantly, a lot more than they were before. And I know that from 10 years ago to now, things have changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You still do a lot of video uploads, which I really appreciate those. How do you feel about that? Like, I know you do a live show, but I would say you do more videos than you do live shows, more reviews.
Well, I'm actually on Twitch now, and I do gaming on Twitch. So I do that like twice a week, and then I do a live kind of hangout with the community where we like play a film guessing game every week, and I've been doing that for like 3 years or something like that. So I do some live stuff. I just think YouTube can be really tricky for that, and I find it can be very spammy. Like, as someone watching other people's channels that come up in my feed, it depends who it is that you're likely to click on that. And sometimes you just want a succinct, 10-minute video. And I do find the attention span for talking about movies isn't that long unless you're in the same time zone. So for me, it's hard because I have to tee up the time zone. And then because my biggest like viewership is from America and then it's from the UK. So I have to team up Australia's time zone, America's, and UK, which is like 4 o'clock in the morning for me.
Right.
So that's a bit hard. But there has always been a live stream like push for YouTube. That was definitely a big thing before. It's just changed who's been doing it, because we used to do one for Haley from Horror Addicts. She used to do like a ghouls night out thing where a bunch of us used to jump on there, and those used to go for like 6 hours. So there definitely was live streams. I think that it just kind of comes and goes in like, flows and valleys. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for live streams. It's just, it's not really appropriate for my audience because of the time zone differences, but I still do them every month with Vicky, Nightmare Maven. We do Does This Offend You, where we talk about 2 different movies. But yeah, I don't know, I think you have to have a mix of stuff, but it can be overpowering when you have like 18 hours a week of live streams, and some people just want to come and support you and watch like a 10-minute video. So yeah I think a mix is good.
I agree. I'm kind of doing a mix of both as well. I find that live streams can get overwhelming because there's so many, my level, there's a lot of us doing them. And there's a lot of conflict between things overlapping and, all of that kind of, and lots of drama comes from that. And so I find myself taking breaks.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say the drama thing, because I think that I haven't had any real drama in the community ever since I kind of got out of that where everyone was doing live streams at once, because I think that's the thing though. If people just talk too much or like around each other, more things are going to come out. And when it's like, you know what I mean? Succinct, not so much comes out, I guess. But I definitely felt the difference in that. But I think, it's very interesting. But I do think that, there's still a mix of that. I've just taken my live stream stuff over to Twitch, and I've been doing more gaming stuff, which is completely new for me. So I've enjoyed that.
Neat. Gaming is something that you've always done too?
No, never.
No, I want to get into it too.
It's so fun. And I think that's why it's fun for me, because I would never play like horror. I just have no interest in it. I would never play horror games by myself. So having an audience, like the audience, and it's just so funny, the community I have on Twitch, because they're very jokey. We're just playing around the whole time. Just like there's just lots of banter, and we're just playing just horror games and screaming for like 4 hours, and it's just like a fun, like it's just like hanging out with friends. And I would never play horror games otherwise, so I'm always really surprised by like what happens in horror games, because I'd never like I borrowed a friend's PlayStation and I didn't even know how to turn it on. So I'm like complete noob, and I think that people appreciate that I'm not trying so hard to be like a good gamer. I'm just like anyone else.
Playing and learning as you go. Well, okay, I don't know anything about the games. What are a couple of your favorite games that you've been playing?
My favorite game I played so far is Outlast, which is apparently one of the scariest games, but with the time zone differences, I played at like 9 a.m, so it's not so scary for me. I definitely screamed my like lungs out like several times, don't get me wrong. But I love that game. I like games that aren't like shooter games, but you still have to like run and hide. And very, very, very important to me is autosave, because I'm always dying in these games. But Outlast is really good, and Inside is the other one, which was more of a slow and like spooky game where you play like this ghostly boy, and as you go, you kind of figure out like the storyline, if that makes sense. But it's just like puzzle orientated, really easy, but like very gnarly like graphics. Horror games, they always surprise me how graphic they are, like nudity wise and content wise. I'm like, I can't believe people put this in, like, this is the stuff that is like full of, like, in movies this would be on a disturbing list, and in gaming it's just, yeah, it's really funny. So
yeah,
I've been enjoying
I'll have to get into it. I've had a few friends that are bugging me to do it, so I'll have to do that. You said you're playing with an Xbox, or are you playing with
PlayStation? But I started on my computer, and I just have a Mac. I would really recommend Inside because it's not that long and you can play it on your computer, and it's just a really easy, like, you just play it on your keyboard, you know what I mean? It's like super easy.
Yeah. I played years ago Crystal Key and Tomb Raider. I remember those were really fun, but that was way back.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure things have changed a lot. But
yeah.
they were fun though. It was fun discovering little worlds and areas and finding things, and I liked it. Yeah.
It's really fun to do on live streams because you just, you get to discover things with other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
You're interacting with others. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like fun. Sounds cool. I am signed up with Twitch, so, I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
Eventually I'll get there. Okay. I want to ask you, what are your favorite, kinds of movies, and then I'll ask you, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh God, that dreaded question.
Love that question.
My favorite kinds of movies. Well, the reason I got into horror is because I like disturbing stuff that pushes the envelope. I basically like watching, like, I got addicted to, when I was like an edgy teenager, especially when I went to film school, I just really wanted to watch what the darkest, most intense, dramatic thing was. So you could have that shock. I love that shock value when you like walk out of the cinema and you're like, I can't believe they just did that. That is so wild. That, like, that's just so, I don't know. It just pushes every boundary, and you can't believe people put it in a film. So I'd watch like super disturbing stuff just to be like cool and edgy, watching that kind of stuff. And I guess with horror, I found that where I've settled is more on the psychological ones, are the ones I kind of turn to. It's not like I'm a huge slasher fan, but, as I said, films like Us, Jordan Peele's Us, that has both elements where it's psychological and slasher. But I love, like, all the genre bending is, like, so fun. That, like, such a modern horror way of, like, you don't have to just go, like, the straight and narrow path. I like anything unique, really, but I find psychological is always, like, where I like to go because it seems more realistic to me, so more scary. Yeah. A lot of people can relate to it. I know a lot of people have issues with how many mental illness movies they're pumping out constantly, but I still think it's, like, such an interesting concept, and especially when they can have a unique kind of twist on that. I love that.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Kate, favorite?
Favorite horror movie?
Yeah.
Okay, favorite horror movie. I always pick Pet Sematary, the original Pet Sematary. I can't help it. So many people hate it when I say that too.
I love that movie.
I love it too. I think it's got everything. It's like, it's kind of campy in a way, but it's terrifying, and then it pushes the envelope, obviously, with, like, infant death. It's, like, insane. And I just think it has everything, and it's such a complete journey kind of film where, I love it. I absolutely love it. And they just said they're doing, like, a prequel that's coming to Paramount this year, which is going to be wild. So I'm excited to see that. Yes. That'll be out in October, I think. So, super exciting. I didn't really love the remake, but that was bound to happen if I love the original so much.
Yeah. I didn't really like it either.
Yeah. The book is, have you ever read the book?
No.
The book is one of the most amazing things I've ever read. And it's completely different not really perspective, that's probably not the best way to say it, but the focus, I guess, is completely different in the book. Right. And it was so terrifying. There is if you listen to audiobooks, there's an audiobook version where Michael C. Hall does the narration. It's like the best thing I've ever listened to. Really? And it's just so incredible that's like one of my favorite movies ever. But the book I like even more, and I read it afterwards, and I liked it for different reasons. So I always say that one because I don't know. It's so hard though.
That's a good choice. That's a great choice, actually. You know what mine is?
What?
The Amityville Horror.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've always loved that because when I was a kid, it came out and I was too young to go to the theater to see it. So this one friend of ours had an older friend that got her into the movie. Mm-hmm. And so we sat in the laneway and she described the whole thing to us. And it was so freaky to hear all the parts, the Jody the pig with the red eyes and
Yeah.
all of it, that I fell in love with it. And then my sister and mom used to read the books too, so I heard that side of it as well. And just nostalgically, that's my favorite all time. I'm obsessed with The Exorcist right now, of course, too, but
Yeah.
it took me a lot of years to get the courage to watch it.
Yeah.
It was just too scary to me back in the day. But yeah, the Amityville Horror. So I appreciate Pet Cemetery. That's cool. Very cool.
Have you ever heard of Mike from Rotted Reviews? Have you heard of Rotted Reviews before?
No.
My friend Mike, he went through and he ranked every single Amityville movie, which there's 50 of them or something like that. He really regretted it. He actually had to put a video out, like, retiring himself from talking about it, because I don't know if you know this, but, like, Amityville, there's no, like, restrictions on the franchise.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so anyone can make one. And he actually ended up making one, but it was just, I don't want to spoil it, but it's just, like, really funny. Like, he made, like, a kind of a comical version. But I definitely recommend checking out his video, because just sitting there, Rotted Reviews.
There's an Amityville Karen, too.
Yes, I've seen. Yeah.
I'm trying to get Cool Duder to come on my show and talk about it, because I think that would be very cool.
Wow.
But yeah, no luck yet. I'll keep you posted though.
It's so insane. I'm sure they're gonna have to do a remake. Obviously, they had the remake with Ryan Reynolds, which was pretty good. I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
I think that they're probably due another actual high production remake. Yeah. I think so.
How many movies are there now? There's probably like 30 of them. Or so.
No, way more than that. Way more than that. I think there was like 50. No joke.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
I
think that they're definitely due a new one.
Yeah, there'll be more. There'll be more. Sure. Wow, that's crazy. I think. Let's see. What else was I going to ask? We kind of went all over the place. Okay, so I guess what I'll ask you now, because we're getting close to the end of our time limit here. What do you have upcoming on your channel that you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I mean, it's coming into spooky season, so there's lots of stuff coming. I'm very excited to see the new Saw movie, Haunting in Venice, all that good stuff I'll be keeping up on. But basically what's coming up is, it's coming to the end of the month for me now, which means we have what's coming up next month, and then like my monthly recap, which I watched a lot of stuff, a lot of TV as well this month. But yeah, I'm just really excited for everything coming up, because as September onwards, it's just we're going to be hit over and over and over. I don't know the next movie that's actually in cinemas. I'm seeing it's not out here. I'm seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this weekend, but I think that's already out in most places. Oh, we have The Nun coming out in like 2 weeks, so I'm definitely going to be doing some recaps on The Nun. Probably talk about The Nun's true story as well, and then obviously see The Nun 2. I actually did not mind The Nun. I'm not a huge Conjuring fan, but The Nun I actually have like a soft spot for. I think it was actually pretty scary. I feel like no one liked the first one, but I didn't mind it, so
I didn't mind it. The only movie in the franchise that I didn't really like was The Conjuring 3, because I thought they would focus more on the story was such a cool story, and more of the court case. I don't know, it just wasn't quite hit for me.
100%. That's Conjuring, isn't it?
But the first two were good.
Well, I'm excited to see what they do with the next Nun. And then A Haunting in Venice, which is out around the 14th of September, which I'm really excited about. But then we got Saw and everything. And then we go straight into Pet Sematary. Totally Killer comes out the same day as Pet Sematary, I think. And then we have The Exorcist. So it's like we're going to be hit nonstop. So
very exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will have all of your links in the description below. So everybody go sub to her channel if you're not already, because she's got an awesome channel. I can't even believe you agreed to talk to me.
Oh my God, stop. Of course. No, I was like,
this is so cool. No, I'm like kind of fangirling, because I'm like, I've been following your channel for so long. And you and Possessed by Horror are like, they're on my TV. As soon as your videos drop, I watch.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much for watching my video today as well. That's really nice.
Oh, yeah, of course. I saw the title and I went, oh, wait, what? Click. Yeah, I love it. I love learning about all these obscure titles and different shows that you watch and stuff too. They're really, really fun. Just one last question. How much stuff do you watch? Like, do you watch every single day, like a whole bunch of things? Like, do you...
No. I think I think I like more on the weekends. I'll like knock out like 4 movies in a row if I feel like it.
Right.
But I don't really have a set schedule.
Okay.
It does really help that like when movies come out, I get I'm lucky enough to get invited to like the local premieres. So that
Right.
really keeps me on the ball with making sure I'm watching new content coming out at cinemas. But at home, I just like, honestly, a lot of it comes from inspiration from the community. I see people post on their Instagram stories or on Letterboxd like what they're watching, or even in like my Discord like what they're watching. I'm like, oh my god, I need to check that out. So I think I get as many people who say like, oh, you give me so many recommendations. I get a lot of recommendations from everyone else. Like, it's definitely like a give and take situation, but there's no real structure to when I watch or how. I just try and swallow as much content as possible all the time.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Emma, I don't want to keep you much longer. You got the rest of your day ahead of you. I'm going to be going to bed soon. But it was super nice meeting you and really nice chatting with you, and all the best with your channel. And you're welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I sure did. It was a real treat getting to talk to Emma about movies. I can't tell you, I love her channel so, so much. I have all of her links in the description box below, so please go check her out. If you're not subscribed already, go subscribe because you have to be. She's a huge part of the horror community, and great, great content. You'll learn something, trust me. And once again, thanks Emma for stopping by and chatting with me. It was really, really fun. And you're welcome back anytime. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up because it helps me out a lot. And subscribe to the channel for more interviews like this one because I got more. I do. And movie reviews, deep dives, viewer requests. Don't forget to send me viewer requests. I need some more movies to review. I'll run out eventually. You know, I need more. And live streams, we've got one coming up this evening actually at 9 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be watching 30 Days of Night. So a cool vampire flick. Me and my buddies, Echo and Annette, are going to chill and hang out, eat some snacks, have some drinks, and watch the movie to have a fun wind down for the week. So stop by for that too. It's on my channel. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye, guys.